Hello and welcome back here to another episode here of Talk Tottenham, here with your host Tom. Guys, giving you a match preview for this weekend's away trip against Newcastle. We play them on Sunday. I think it's 1:30. I think the kickoff in the UK. So I'll be previewing the match in this video. For those eagle-eyed viewers and listeners, you'll notice I didn't actually put out any videos for the game against Everton. I was pretty busy with my family. They were up to see me in Edinburgh at the weekend, so there wasn't a video last weekend. But rest assured, guys, did catch the highlights. Very encouraging home win against, you have to say, quite a depleted Everton team, but nonetheless, 4-0 against anyone in the Premier League is a very good result. And some really good signs in that game. I thought, with particularly obviously Sonny, you have to say, getting those two goals. The second one, by the way, what a fantastic run by Van der Ven, running the whole length of the pitch basically, and then assisting to Sonny at the end. But obviously, have to talk about Basuma. I've said it before on some other videos, guys. This is a guy I've given a fair bit of stick to, but fair play to him. That was a hell of a finish for his first goal for the club. Brilliant finish into that top corner, and just really sort of set us on our way. And I think it was just a really good team performance, wasn't it? I was pleased to see Kulusevski come back into the team. Really good, but obviously with Solanke out injured, that just meant that he put Johnson over onto the left-hand flank. I've seen a lot of people say that Johnson didn't have that an effective game, which is a shame. Also I didn't think he played particularly well, to be honest, at Leicester on the opening day. So maybe Johnson's a player whose place is under threat, to be honest, for the Newcastle game. But we're moving to that one in a moment. I think a lot of it depends really on Solanke and when he's due back. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Is he due back this weekend or is it after the international break? I'm not sure, to be honest, guys. But we're talking about the Newcastle game now. This is a place, guys, that has been an awful place for us in the last couple of seasons. I mean, 2 years ago, we lost there, didn't we, 6-1, which was around the time, I remember it because it was around the time when Stellini, I think, had just taken over from Conte, and then Stellini got sacked, I think, after that game. But that game just obviously is, I'm sure all Spurs fans have had, that was just a nightmare for us. We were 5-0 down, I think, in under sort of 20 minutes or so. Never seen a game like it. It was awful to watch. And then even last season as well, we lost 4-0 and some really bad defending. I remember a goal right at the end from a header from a corner, unchallenged. We've really got to sort that out for this weekend because we know what Newcastle are like at home. They're a dangerous opponent. They have just played, obviously, last night in the League Cup away at Forest, so you would hope that we would be the fresher team going into that. But we've just got to somehow get over this lack of mentality, I would say, that is still there really when it comes to those away games and the big games for Spurs, particularly at grounds like Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool. We can't seem to get over the line really in these games, or I'd go as far to say, guys, even sort of really show a decent account of ourselves really in these games. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I really hope that Ange can change it. But for a long time, particularly at grounds like Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal as well, I hate to say it, but it's true. We can't, we just seem to just panic. And I think, this weekend, it would be really good to avoid a defeat. Obviously, a win would be priceless, but I would say going into that North London derby after the international break, if we can still be unbeaten, I think that would be really good. But I've said it all every time we go up to Newcastle. I always say I'm confident that we can get a result, but it really just depends on what Tottenham that we see really on Sunday. We know what a raucous St James's Park is like. It's horrible. The fans really get behind them. It's funny, a few years ago, actually St James's Park wasn't too bad of a ground for us to travel to. I remember a few victories over the years that have been thrown in there, but it's been a little while, guys. It's been a little while, to be honest. I do remember games. I remember Chadley scoring. I remember even in the COVID break, I remember Sonny and Kane going up there. I think we won 3-1. I think even Ndombele scored in that game as well. I think it was a 3-1 win. That might have been our last result there. Since then, it's been dreadful. So, moving into the team prediction, guys. The predicted lineup, should I say, for the match? I mean, the good thing is, guys, is that the squad looks pretty healthy at the moment. Obviously, other than Solanke's injury, I don't know if they're going to put Rush Bentancur back either. But that aside, you would imagine, no real changes to the defence. So you're looking at Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Udogie. And then in moving into that midfield, he does have a little bit of a decision to make, in that double pivot. Does he persist with Basuma and Sarr? I probably can see him doing that. I mean, to take Basuma out now would be a strange decision. Is Bentancur fit? I'm just wondering who else could play in that double pivot. To be honest, you've got Bentancur, obviously. Would he throw an Archie Gray in there at St James's Park? I'm not so sure about that. Or a Bergvall. I can see them both coming off the bench though in the second half, because I thought they were really, really good, both of them, to be honest, in the Leicester game. I think they are definitely in and around the squad now for sure. Just depends on whether or not Ange wants to throw him in. But for argument's sake, guys, let's go with Basuma and Sarr. And then moving ahead into that sort of advanced three, for me, I think you play Maddison in that number 8 or number 10. Kulusevski for me would be on the right. I thought it was odd, to be honest, that he didn't start in the Leicester game, in the first game of the season, because he was our best player this season in pre-season. Kulusevski was the man in form. And then, he has a bit of a decision to make for the last couple of positions, because let's assume that Solanke isn't fit and that he won't rush him back, give him the international break to rest. I can see him perhaps maybe going with Sonny up front. The other option is to play Sonny in the left and play Richarlison through up the top. But he does seem to quite like Johnson. But has Johnson sort of played himself out of the team at the moment with those first two performances? I'm not sure. It's a tricky one. If it was me, guys, I would probably be quite tempted to play Richarlison up front in this game and put Sonny out wide and go with that. I like Sonny out wide. I think that's, when all's said and done, that is probably his best position, rather than through the middle. He can obviously do that job, but I think for this game without Solanke, if Solanke's fit, obviously he starts and Sonny plays out left. That's an easy decision, but I think we need that little bit of physicality in the team for a tough trip away to Newcastle, and I think having that outlet up front, whether or not it is Solanke or Richie, to hold up the ball. I mean, I never think, to be honest, personally, I don't think Richie does that good a job in holding up the ball, but he is good in the air, and he's an option if we want to play it a little bit more direct or crosses into the box. So, but, for me, for argument's sake, let's say Sonny out left and Richie through the middle, and then that leaves a bench again of Austin, Dragusin, Ben Davis. I'm sure Archie Gray and Bergvall will be on the bench as well. And then you're probably going to have your likes of your Timo Werner, and not really quite sure, to be honest, who he might play as another striker on the bench. Would maybe Will Lancashire get a chance on the bench? He's been banging the goals in for the under-23s. I saw him in the Hearts friendly earlier on this season, and he looked really, really sharp. He looks like a goal scorer. So, for me, if there aren't really any other options, as for strikers on the bench, I would be happy to put Lancashire on the bench. So, guys, that's my team. If that's the team that's going up to St James's Park, for the match prediction, guys, I'm gonna go with a draw, guys, in this game. Which, to be honest with you, like I said, I don't think would be the worst result in the world. My heart says that we can just about do it, but my head, based on recent performances up there, based on the fact that Newcastle have also had a fairly decent start to the season with a win and a draw, I just think that a 1-1 draw, if we can get out of there with a result still unbeaten, I'd probably take that, to be honest, guys. But a win would be terrific as well. Would be absolutely fantastic. It would set us up really, really nicely for that North London derby. And I'm really pleased, by the way, guys, that we're actually playing them at home for once in the first game this season, because we always seem to go to the Emirates. I know we got a 2-2 draw last season, but we usually get beat there. So let's beat them this time in that first game, and then it will take the pressure off a little bit for the return leg. Not the return leg, but the returning fixture later on in the season. I think we play them probably around March, April time, or is it maybe? I think it might be a bit earlier actually. At the Emirates, I think it might actually even be January. Actually, pretty sure I looked at the fixture list and they've put that down as a midweek game shortly after Christmas. So that will be interesting. But guys, let me know what your prediction is for this weekend's trip to Newcastle. Are you confident? Are you nervous? I'm a little bit nervous myself, but I feel like we're just playing them at a decent time early on this season. To be honest, it's another game which is good to get out of the way, to be honest. In terms of, we usually play them a little bit more into the season. And yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks very, very much for watching. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and come on, you Spurs.